Welcome back. Claiming your success. Conversations with Caroline and Sabrina. How are we doing? How are you, Sabrina?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to
Love
this
that.
today. This topic we've got today is fun.
How am I? Because I'm not even gonna lie. Probably like about 30% of Caroline still does this. So we are going to be talking about overthinking and how it can have just an impact on you overall. Like it just impacts you. One, because listen, your brain's doing double time overthinking. And I don't know about you, Sabrina, but me, back in the day, I used to overthink, do the task, and then realize why did I overthink,
Mm,
or complete what it was, and then realize why was I overthinking?
mm,
You know.
mm.
What about you? Do you find you still overthink?
Oh, 100%. I think this is part of this is just part of my personality. I honestly believe that. And even though I say to people all the time, that thing, perfectionism, procrastination, overthinking, they're not personality traits. I to myself, I'm like, bitch, yes, yes, it is. Like, it's just part of who you are. But I don't let it stop me anymore. Right?
Yes.
It is
Mm.
something that happens to me. I overthink a lot. I have a very anxious mind. So my brain is constantly going. And there's a lot of, I think we'll touch on this too, because the mental load of this has a huge impact as well. But I have a very anxious mind. So it's always going, you haven't done this, you haven't done that, you're not doing enough, you're not good enough, what if,
Yeah.
all of that, right? But it no longer has more power over me than my ambition does. My ambition and what it is that I want for my life is more powerful than my spiraling thinking.
Right, because it's not that we don't stop overthinking. We just learn how to maybe turn that noise down a
Turn it
little
down.
bit
Yeah.
so we can get focused on what we need to get done. And then when it's done, it might not even be there by then, to be
Yeah.
honest. It might
Yeah.
have gone. Or
Yeah.
it might be that it will creep back up again. But then you're like, oh, I don't matter now because I've done what was important.
Mm,
Can leave it.
mm.
Um, have you been overthinking about anything recently? Is anything
Yeah. I mean, Gio and I have been, like my husband and I, we've been talking a lot about our finances recently, like planning for retirement. We're 43 and we're talking about like planning for our retirement and what that looks like, where we want to retire, and even having the
mm,
ability to say, what country in the world do you want to retire in? Like that blows my mind that we have that capability
right?
in our lives right now, right? This is what's at stake. Like when we talk about everything you want for your life is at stake, if you don't get your shit together enough to pursue it, like this is what we're talking about. Because I am not a girl that should be having conversations like that. I grew up in one of the only black families in a very white, very affluent town. We lived legit on the other side of the tracks. Like that's not just the thing that people say. We literally lived on the other side of a railway track. Council house, not even council housing, housing association, living on government benefits, single parent household. Like my upbringing was not one that I would wish on anybody. I had a very
Yeah,
tumultuous, broken family dynamic. Being the woman that I am now, with the lifestyle that I have now, having the conversations about my future that I have now, this should not be possible. It should not
yeah,
be possible. So when Caroline and I are talking to you about what you need to do to get your shit together enough to live the kind of life that you actually want to live, like you need to listen to what we're talking about. And I'm so passionate about this because I should be the statistic that I was born into. I should be the statistic that I was born into, but I'm not because I decided to do something different with my life. Simple. I made a decision that my life was not going to go that way. And I've done the hard, like hard isn't even a big enough word to
I'm
describe
telling
what you
you.
have to walk through to make this shit happen. But I've done it. And so when we're talking to you about what needs to happen for you to be able to do it as well, you need to have your ears open. Like these aren't frivolous conversations that we're having over here. This is talking about what's possible for you in your life. And I don't even know what I was going to say because my passion just overtook my soul.
We don't care. We run with it. We run with it. Oh my gosh. I was asking if oh my god, I swear I love it. I love it when it just does that. It's so
What
good,
have I
so
been
good. But I do that,
overthinking
I
about
do the
recently?
same. Yeah, but I do the same like when it's like boom, we just got ram, 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 and that's it. But yeah, the passion takes over.
It
Yeah,
does.
anything recently, yeah, because then I've got another
Yes.
question.
So yeah, Gio and I were talking about our financial situation, talking about what saving for retirement and what we're doing and investment plans that we have so that we're building a nest egg for retirement. And I've started overthinking about that. Like, oh my gosh, what if it doesn't, like the old me is coming back, that old identity of you shouldn't
Mm,
have this shouldn't be your life. And all of that is coming back. It's like this imposter syndrome almost is coming in and being like, what if you fuck it up? What if you
mm.
mess it up? What, like these grand plans you're making, what if something comes in and messes it up? Like that is on a loop in my head. And so when we talk about overthinking, how it cannot be the thing that stops you, we're not saying that you're no longer gonna, one day you're gonna wake up and make a decision. I'm not gonna be an overthinker anymore. And that's just gonna be what it is. No, it's still gonna show up. It's still gonna come up for you. You're gonna have to learn how to not listen to it.
Yeah. And I feel like I like to represent the universe a lot because I feel like the universe does it at times when it just wants to test us and be like, oh, do you let me just see if you actually want it that bad? Because I need to see how bad you actually want it before I give it to you. That's what I feel like it is. And I just feel like it's always a test just to see how is she gonna deal with it this way, you know?
Mm,
How's she gonna
mm,
what's she gonna do? Is she gonna
mm.
overthink and go that way, or is she gonna actually level up and just do what she needs to do and get it done? And that could be a good way if you find it hard to look at things, especially when you're having a challenging day or when you're finding something really hard. Just really try to find the lesson that you can learn from it and grow from it. Me and Sabrina both told you that we overthink. We're still doing the do.
Mm. I think
Then after that,
it's
oh yeah,
that
go
it's
on.
like just what you're saying about we're ambitious women, right? That's no secret. Everyone can, like, we might as well have it tattooed on all over our face. Prison tattoos all over
Ambition.
our face. Ambitious women. We're very ambitious women, but we see women that have ambition too. Like we have people in our communities, people we mentor, people we coach that are also ambitious, but that get stuck in analysis paralysis, right? Because
Yeah,
that's what overthinking does. It keeps us paralyzed in our thoughts. So when we're like speaking to those women, if you maybe recognize, you guys that are listening recognize that in yourself, that yeah, I get stuck in analysis paralysis. What would you say to her? How would you help her kind of get unstuck, or him?
repeat the first part. Sorry, because you said something and I wrote something down. What was the
Ambitious
first part?
women, when we're ambitious and we still have that will to kind of draw forward the life that we want, but we get stuck in analysis paralysis. What would you say to somebody listening who recognize they struggle with that?
What I would say is what I do. Try to remove myself from the situation. So, say for example, if I'm sitting at home right now and I'm stuck in a little overthinking bubble, right? I'm going to remove myself for at least 30 minutes to an hour away from that so that I'm not thinking about anything. And it could be a walk, could be a workout. You could go and cook, go and call like a not a friend or someone, not even to talk about that, but to talk about something else to get your mind distracted. Um, those are the type of things that I do when I get stuck in that because I know once I've done something that I'm not thinking about that and it's like fulfilling me and just bringing back all the good feeling, the good juju and that, I then would have a different outlook of what I was overthinking about.
Yeah, it does. That's a really practical tool actually, and I hope, like, you, if you're listening, you really took that as a practical thing you can go and do. Remove yourself from that
Mm.
environment, take yourself out of that environment and give yourself space to actually like slow down your thoughts, take a breath, and then come back to make the decision.
Yeah, because I can't even remember. There was at the start of the year, I had a massage book anyway. Me and Tar was going for a massage, but before the massage, it was I can't if I remember what it was I was thinking about, I would share because all I know is I was stressed going into that massage, and when I came out of that massage, I was like, that was all I needed. I was like in La La Land or something, and it was like that was all I needed, just a bit of me time, a bit of slowing it down, bringing it back to a level where I weren't just going. And it
Mm-hmm.
just made me just calm all over. And it was just
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, Caroline, now you've got a different outlook on it. And it
Mm-hmm.
was just like, so, you know, and it could
What's
be
the
that because,
difference? What, just quick, what's the difference between somebody doing that, like coming out of the task and going and doing something else, like self-care, whatever, to be able to come back to the task with more clarity, or somebody who's, I'm overthinking, let me get out, and they use it as an avoidance strategy? What's the difference?
well, then, as in like for that person.
Yeah. What's the difference between those two things? Either taking yourself out of the scenario to come back with more clarity, or taking yourself out of the scenario as avoidance.
You're not going to do anything then, are you? If you're just going to remove yourself, right? You're just going to, you're going to, you're going to be in a circle, in a big circle, big cycle of you just like, okay, that's it, boom. And then that's it. Like, nothing going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to grow. You're not going to develop. Nothing's going to change. You're going to stay where you are.
Mm. I
Like,
asked that
literally.
question because I think people, one of the overthinking things that people do about overthinking is
To give us
that
a riddle. No.
is that they get into their head about, well, how do I know when I need to give myself grace versus I'm giving myself an out and making an excuse, and they start overthinking about that. Do you know what I mean? Like, when is it that I'm giving myself grace to be able to come back better versus I'm just giving, like, letting myself fall into the excuses? I hear people question that a lot.
And then, do you know, there are times when I do that a bit hard as well. For example, just this last week, you know, Monday work, Tuesday, Wednesday, store managers conference. So I was away for 2 days, came back Thursday. I then, went straight out to like a workout in the morning at 11, went to do nails, came home, podcast record, Friday back at work, Saturday run club, work, this morning an event. And then it was like, like I felt like I didn't know when I should have stopped, right? When I needed that break. But that was why I had that today. And then even that I was like, oh, I need to do this, need to do that. And it was actually Tar that made me realize. And she was like, oh, Caroline, why don't you just chill in the afternoon? I was like, well, no, because I had a day off on Thursday. And then she was like, no, you didn't. You did this, you did this, you did that. And I was like, oh yeah. So I seem to chill today. I think we need to learn to look not even just the day, but maybe a few days to see what we've done. Because it's the same with me. Like I used to think I had to keep go, 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 when actually I was then gonna burn I was burning myself out. I actually need those times to rest, rejuvenate, so we can come back
Mm,
stronger and better. And it
mm,
could be that this is where people are actually going to realize from this podcast. It took me nearly 4 years to realize that I needed to actually make sure I had a break, like graft 3 months, have the break, and then you're going to go again for another 3 months, Caroline. That's how what I've been doing this year, So even I didn't even realize. So it's looking at, well, firstly, looking at your succession, right, and what your success looks like. If it's that, it's just getting up, making meals, getting yourself ready on your days off, and make sure you're not staying in bed, or it's that, what we're doing, where we need to make sure we have a few hours on the day off to make sure we are fully switching off, because it can't be all the time, and it is hard to identify where that is because that's different for everyone. You
mm,
know,
mm.
I know I only need a like 2 hours max of Netflix and chilling, just because I'm someone that's naturally wants to keep grafting, but I know I need that downtime. Um, did that make sense?
Yeah, it did. What I heard, all that was going through my mind was learn to rest, not quit.
Yes,
Learn to rest, not quit.
literally.
Right.
And
And
that's
you go.
yeah, no, go. I'm just echoing off you.
Yeah, it is. It's exactly that. And sometimes our overthinking gets us caught in this like mental spiral where we can't make decisions. We don't have confidence in our ability to get out there and do the thing or whatever. We get stuck in this spiral, and that costs a lot. There's a mental cost to that, right? Which is why we're so, like, Caroline and I are very, like we said, we're very ambitious, we're very driven, we're gonna, by hook or crook, we're carving out the lives that we want, right? It doesn't matter how long it's going to take, it doesn't matter
Nope.
what comes our way, like it's a done deal, right? But in order to have that kind of that kind of inevitability that we see for our future, which I think is where everybody needs to get to. You have to believe that your success is inevitable. You got to understand that there's a mental load that comes with that. There's
Mm,
always thinking, there's always worrying. Sometimes there's always like, I should be doing that, I should be doing that. So you have to train yourself to rest.
mm. You actually do. You're just gonna keep going, going, going. I mean, you see it with people that I know it's just running, but you see it with people with running, especially when they're like running every day. For no, 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 because then how are you gonna come back better? You. That's why we have 2 days off in a week. No, probably. No one can go for 7 days straight. We need the two
Mm-hmm.
days to rest to get back in for the other five.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So it's like, why would you not give yourself rest?
Mm.
Sleep is so important, and so many
Oh
people are
God.
sacrificing that. And then they're wondering why they're waking up the next day all grumpy and grouchy. It's because you haven't given yourself enough rest to then be able to perform the next day.
And then you're like biting your kid's head off or biting your spouse's head off or being that asshole in the commuting thing, you know, barging through people or using your horn to communicate. And it's like, they're not the ones that are the problem. Your daughter's not the problem. Your spouse isn't the problem. Your co-worker's not the problem. You're just so because you're not rested, right? And it's understanding that, even like sometimes overthinking and that mental load and that spiral we get stuck in is because you're running on fumes.
Then, like something that pops into my head now is going to be the entrepreneurial women that work full time as well. And then I don't know what it is. It's like they show up for work, but then when it comes to the business or what they're doing on their social media, then the overthinking kicks in. And it's like, why do you think that happens? Is that because they don't have a big enough vision for themselves? Is that because they don't have I don't know. Like, because there's a few people around me that are doing that at the minute, and then the math don't math because I'm like, okay, well, you want this, but then you're not doing that. What's happening there?
I think it's fear, to put it a single word on it. I think when we're employed by somebody else, all that's required of us is that we go to this place at agreed upon hour, and we do an agreed upon amount of tasks, and then we leave this place at an agreed upon hour, and we receive agreed upon money for that, right? It's very simple. It's a very simple equation,
You're upon time. You're so not wrong, though. You are so no.
isn't it? It's a contract. Like, we literally have a contract with the universe. Like, this is what you do. This is what you'll get for doing it. This is what you do. This is what you get for doing it. That's it. When it comes to whatever we're trying to build on the other side, there's no contract with anybody else. You've got maybe a hope and a desire and a wish, but there's no like contractual obligation to fulfill. And so when it gets scary, now it's easy to just be like, oh, I'm not going to do it today. When you're tired,
Literally,
oh, I'm not going to do it today. When you're pissed off, I'm not going to do it today. Right? It's easy to negate that like progress that you're trying to make, because you're not trying to, there isn't an obligation that you're trying to fulfill. And I think this is the important thing for women specifically. We've been trained in our society to be the people that fulfill the obligation, right? Men traditionally have only one obligation that they're trained to fulfill, and that's to provide. Women are trained to fulfill the obligation of being the home taken care of,
mm.
whatever that word is. The
You get out. We do not have the kiddies.
we don't have the keys. The home taken care of, the child taken care of, the husband taken care of. We have to cook the meals. We have to keep everything together. We have to then be the people in our communities that bind the communities, because the men aren't going there and creating community.
Mm,
Women build
it's
community. Women build
true.
connection. We're the ones that are keeping all this together. So women are obligated to fulfill all of these roles within our society. Men are only obligated to fulfill one. And so when it comes to now, I mean, the fastest growing numbers of entrepreneurs are women in this day and age, which is incredible to see. But it also comes with that renewed thing of, oh gosh, there's no contract, there's no obligation that I'm trying to fulfill here. So it's easier for me to back
Yeah.
down on that. So you have to make a contract with yourself. You
Ooh.
have to fulfill an obligation to yourself. And the reason why that's difficult is because most people don't value themselves high enough to see the priority of keeping a promise they made to themselves.
And do you have any tools you would share, or any best practices that you have that could help someone?
On that same like topic,
Yeah.
one, you have to do the work to start seeing yourself differently. I think that's something that Caroline and I have placed a huge value on and priority on, is becoming the woman that we want to be, right? So you have to start working on your own self-perception, on your own self-esteem, your self-worth, how you see yourself, how you value yourself. You have to become the person that is worth spending that time and that energy on. Something needs to change in here about how you see yourself.
Yeah.
So there's that. You have to do that inner work. You can't run away from that. You can't avoid that. That's going to catch you up and it's going to be the limit to your growth. So there's that piece. And then secondary to that, I think something very practical, and this is something that I did for when I first started coaching clients. I only did it in a group setting and specifically around their health journeys. I would create a contract, like it wasn't legally binding or anything. It was just a written thing that it was literally written as if they were writing to themselves. It was like, I promise to blah, blah, blah. And it was like for the 90 days or the 60 days or whatever, how long the commitment was of me coaching this community, I wrote this contract and they had to write it, fulfill their name in, read it all and sign it and then submit it as a picture in our group. So everybody, when we first started coaching, first started on the challenge or whatever it was, they all had their signed contract written. And there was something about seeing that and doing that for themselves that made it possible for them to show up and actually commit to the actions, getting their workouts in, working on their nutrition, getting more water, prioritizing their sleep, taking their supplements, all of that stuff, right? And I think something as, it sounds so silly because again, it's not legally binding. Nobody knows you did it, like you get, but writing something like that for yourself, I think
Mm.
could be so powerful. Like when you start your entrepreneurial process or whatever it is that you're trying to build, writing out an agreement to you from you. Like, have you ever sent yourself a Christmas present? Like you write on the package, like the wrapping paper, to me, from me. I used to do that to myself all the time. I would buy myself a Christmas present and put it underneath the tree, to me, from me. But it's like it's almost like a gift that you're giving yourself just
Oh, that's
because.
nice.
Yeah, just
Mm.
because you think you're worth it. So
Yeah.
something as simple as that, writing a contract for what it is that you're trying to achieve and the promise that you're making to yourself that you're going to fulfill that, and then signing it and having it somewhere to look at could be the thing that helps you show up in that obligation.
Literally. And I find writing goals down, right? Just writing down what it is you want to achieve or how you want your life to be. When writing anything down like that, power it, and I don't know why, but it just does. And I tell you, even if you say I'm gonna wake up at 5 o'clock today, and you don't, write it the next day, and you don't, write it the next day, and write it the next day, because you're telling yourself something, and then something's going to change then as well. It's crazy, but it just happens. Like
Mhm.
it, yeah. Writing down things is just game changing
It
because it
really
just does
is.
something.
And
Mm.
putting speaking words to it, putting voice to it,
Yeah.
right? Be careful though who you share that with, like we've talked
Well,
about.
can
We talked
be
about
just
that.
written down. Keep to yourself. Yeah.
Be careful who you share it with because you have to protect it, right? You have to protect those
Yeah.
dreams that you have. You don't need anybody else giving you shit
If
about it.
anything, don't even share it with anyone. Don't share it with
Yeah.
anyone to begin with. Keep that to yourself.
And go for it. Like this is the thing that keeps people stuck. And this is the cost of staying stuck rather than being able to go out there, make like confident decisions and course correct as you go. If you don't give yourself the ability to show up even when it's noisy, even when your head is going all over, even when you're overthinking, turn down the noise on it a little bit and be able to take that action, is that nothing ever changes. And what you're not changing, you're choosing. Like, that's such a cliche quote because
Yeah.
it's true. What you are not changing, you are choosing. Think about that. If you're struggling to, like, you're trying, you want so badly for your life to look different, but you're not doing anything for it to look different, you're choosing to stay stuck in the life that you don't want to live.
And you're watching this. Message us.
Message us.
Message us.
You know that our passion shows, and we will proverbially bitch slap you across the ether in your DMs and just be like, no, like, this is what needs to happen. I think it's so important. Just what Caroline and I started this podcast by saying, like, we still overthink. We still struggle with this stuff. We still struggle to make like decisions that really move the needle forward because we have imposter syndrome. We think, who am I to do this? We struggle with our identity shift. Like, it still is a conscious daily decision for us, but we still do it. Just because it's hard doesn't mean we don't do it. And I think that's the thing in our society that we have to break, is that when something's hard, oh, I can't do it. No.
Like, what I've told myself is, if it scares me, to go for it. If it scares you, you have to go for it. And then it's that as well, right? If I didn't make the changes, stayed overthinking, wouldn't be here right now. I'd probably still be that deputy manager in Oxford Street. Wouldn't have leveled up to all the different opportunities I created within work. Wouldn't have had all the opportunities outside of work. I'd still be Oxford Street. So literally was going out all the time, spending money on nonsense, going on unfulfilling holidays just to get away from work and then come back again to the same life. Wouldn't be here.
It's true. And just let that sit for a second. I want to let that, like, have a moment and breathe, because when we allow ourselves to stay stuck in that overthinking spiral and that belief system that we can't be different and things can't be different and we can't do it because it's too hard, quote unquote, like, I firmly believe that if it wasn't possible for you, you wouldn't be able to dream it.
Mm,
Right? Like,
mm,
I don't want to be an NBA star. Like, there's nothing in me that has the desire to go toe to toe with LeBron James. Like, nothing in me has the desire to, like, be underneath the lights as an NBA superstar, right? So I don't have the dream of being an NBA superstar. So it's not possible for me to be an NBA superstar. But if you're listening and all you can think about is the basketball, all you can think about is those lights and people cheering for you, all you can think about is nailing that 3-pointer on the game, like the point winning game or whatever, and you win the championship, and that's all you can think about, and you spend all your time dribbling the ball and you spend all your time shooting and you spend all your time, like, it's possible for you to go and be the star.
yeah.
Will it be hard? Yes. Will you have to develop your skills? Yes. Will you have to walk through some really hard things to make that happen? Yes. But because you have the ability to dream it, it's possible for you. We aren't gifted dreams that are not available for us to live. I don't think our universe is that cruel. I don't think our God is that cruel. Allah is that cruel. The Buddha is that cruel. Whoever it is that you bow to, I don't think they are that cruel to put a dream into your heart that is not available for you to achieve. So stop saying it's too hard.
And something, when you, even though you're just talking about NBA, I just started thinking about all the people that don't do because of the overthinking, and it's upsetting. And I really hope that this podcast is being listened by those who need us, because we're here with you every step of the way, and please believe, me and Sabrina were there going through it, but going up and going we deserve. And if you need us, we are here. I feel like I've gone over a little bit soppy then. I think I'm thinking about tennis, Sabrina, and how I, didn't have it all there. I was an overthinker. I let it go. That could be where it's like really touching me right now, because it's like, I do it because I don't want people to not go after what they want, because I did that and I could have had a completely different life. And had I had a Caroline and Sabrina when I was going through that, I would have pushed through. So you need us, we're here.
Mm. I think that's so powerful to say, because that could be the make or break, right? Is just having a little voice in your head that you can plug into, or somebody to connect to that has the belief in you that you don't yet have. And
Yeah.
you can borrow that belief until you build your own. I think that's it.
Yeah.
I think that was a really poignant, beautiful place to end, because this community means so much to us, and it means more to us than I think anyone listening could ever imagine. If one thing that we said would be the thing that you held on to go and continue pursuing and continue driving and continue pushing to go and live the life that you want, not because we're trying to claim any ownership of your success, but simply to know that our mess and our hard and our those days that we had to push through and whatever, they meant something, and they were for a reason to give you the
Hmm.
ability to believe that you can too. Alrighty, fam. Thank you for being here. Caroline, thank you for that. Such a beautiful conversation. Yeah. Until next time, guys. Take care.
Until next time. Bye.